another episode of the Elite Real Estate Podcast, where real estate meets mindset, marketing, and momentum. I'm your host, Jimmy Nelson, and today we are coming to you live from the Royal Oath Insurance Group right here in Clinton Township, Michigan. Big shout out to the entire team here. Royal Oath is more than just an insurance agent. They're your promise keepers. Whether it's auto, home, business, life, or health insurance, they're here to protect what matters to you most. You can check them out at royaloathinsurance.com or give them a call at 586-238-3535. And of course, today's episode is brought to you in part by our friends at Connection, the CRM built for closers. If you're a real estate agent, entrepreneur, or small business owner looking to automate, follow up, and close more deals and stay top of mind, then Connection is your secret weapon. Go to yourconnection.com and take control of your pipeline today. Now, whether you're tuning in live on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, or X, catching the replay on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, wherever you stream, we're glad you're here. Do me a favor, hit that like button, drop a comment, and share this with a friend, and make sure you're subscribed so you never miss an episode. All right, guys, let's get locked in. We've got a powerhouse show lined up today, and if you're in business or real estate or just building something big, this one is for you. Good morning, everybody. Welcome into the Elite Real Estate Podcast for another fabulous Friday. I am very excited about the guests we're having in today. I've got the Breakfast Club up here riding. We're rolling on KGCI Radio. We're live on social media. If you're watching us on Facebook or YouTube, if you're watching us on YouTube, do me a favor, hit that like and subscribe button. Or if you want to go find us on YouTube, it's the Elite Edge Network on YouTube, and you can go like and subscribe the channel there. Every little bit helps, everybody. So I am super excited to have this rock star coming on the show this morning. I've had the chance to intimately watch the growth and everything of this guest, and I'm just going to bring her on right now. Jennifer Lopez. How are you, my friend?
Good morning. How are you?
Oh, I'm good. I'm excited to get you on here. Like I said before, I just brought you on. I've had the chance to intimately watch your growth, right, over the last few years, of you making this decision to get into the real estate game, all while working full-time job, but having a plan of getting out of that, right, and having a plan to make that decision, and again, we call it burning the ships, right, but to make that plan of actually burning the ships, but you had to get everything lined up correctly. You had a very strategic timeline built into this whole thing, and it's working.
It is working. So yeah, my timeline was strategic one, but it was also based on, I had just finished year 18 with the United States Postal Service when I signed on with EXP.
Okay.
And I got my license. So that Christmas, between Christmas and New Year, I ended up on the breakfast call with one other agent, one of our trainers, and it was just the two of us. Nobody else logged on for that entire hour. And it was great. I had a great phone call with him. I learned a lot. The one-on-one time is priceless to me. And he had said, it's going to take you 3 years to build a referral-based business. And I took that as gold because he knows. He was with one agency. He left there. He came to EXP. He had to rebuild. So yeah, he knew exactly what it was going to take. And he gave me every nugget of the amount of hours, the amount of time, the dedication. And all I kept hearing that first season, that first 4 or 5 months, was you need to build your business with intention and you need to be consistent. And I lived by those 2 words for the first 2 years of my business growing.
Yeah.
Everything was done with intention and everything was done consistently.
Yeah. Man, so you were 18 years into the Postal Service.
Mm-hmm.
And that was how many years ago?
That was I signed with EXP November 1st, 2023.
Okay. So you're now going into year 3, right? So November will by the time we get to November, it'll be year 3.
Correct.
But again, you had a plan because now you're retired from the Postal Service.
I am, yes.
right?
So my goal was to retire at 20 years, which was September 3rd of 2025.
Okay.
The day before I signed up with EXP, I ended up with a knee injury that I didn't expect and didn't realize was going to require surgery and time off of work. Um, it ended up being a really good thing because I was able to train and focus and spend a whole lot of time in front of the computer because I couldn't walk for 6
Because you
weeks
couldn't walk, right?
to learn the business. So I ended up, it all worked out, even if it was even if the lessons were painful at the time. Um, so yes, so I signed up. I injured myself November or October 30th. I'll give the timeline really quickly. I signed up November 1st. You found out not until January 14th that I was going to need surgery because of the holidays. You couldn't get the MRI done, in enough
Sure.
time. Had surgery February 2nd and spent 6 weeks literally sitting in front of the computer, just doing every training I could find. From Real Comp to anything in EXP University to any free hour that any coach would give me, whatever it was, I did it. So yeah, I absorbed it all like a sponge. So then I was I was just able to grow from there.
Yeah.
But that delayed me. Workman's comp doesn't count as active service.
Okay.
So September 3rd, 2025 was going to be my exit date. I needed to add in 5 months to that
Got it.
in order to retire with 20 years of service.
Right.
So that was February 28th was what it ended up being. I then found out later on that that didn't matter. Because I wasn't working the full 30, it no longer made a difference. I was cutting my time short anyway.
Okay.
So then I ended up just deciding mid-January this year that I cut it off for a month early and I left. So
You were ready to go.
I am.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
the timeline. That's how it came to 2025, and then the beginning of the winter of 2026
Yeah.
was that's what I needed to have the 20 years in to get for my pension.
Right. So for those of you that are listening, live or later, a plan, right? A strategic plan to again get out of what you were doing, right? Now there was a retirement piece in there, like that was there was a specific timeline put on you because of what you had to get done at the United States Postal Service. But there was a strategic plan for that exit to happen, and you had business happening already. So you went in on this thing, and you were really working 2 full-time jobs, because it wasn't like you just had your license and weren't selling anything. You were still selling and doing mail delivery and selling.
Correct.
Right now you have this secret weapon of, I don't have to deliver mail anymore. I'm just selling houses. And so now you've 10x this in a short time, because now this year 2026 is going to be your first full-time year, correct?
Well, I've been full-time for the last 2 years.
Yeah, but I mean without the other distraction.
Correct. So my work weeks for the last 2 years were a minimum of 70 hours and a maximum of about 90 to 95 hours. So I literally was working 2 full-time jobs for 2 years.
Yeah. And you and I talked briefly yesterday, like the other thing that people have to understand is you're a single mom.
I am. I became divorced in all of this, which was not a part of the plan when the plan started. So I went from essentially from 2 incomes with 2 adults to 2 incomes with 1 adult in the time frame of this. Which, like I said, was never a part of the plan. It's been a blessing. The amount of growth that comes with that type of event happening in your life is amazing. But yes, that was never a part of the plan. So yes, I'm a single mom with a very active junior in high school.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And so it's important. This is the other thing too. People that are like, because everybody out here struggles with time management, and we all do. We all because we all want to spend time with our family. Always want to spend time with our kids, and the kids. It's so funny. I'm 52. I'll be 53 next month. But like, I think back to when I was a kid. Like, we just went and played stuff, right? Like, we didn't. Now everybody's got a this thing and a lesson and a this thing and a that thing. I got kids too, so it's like I know how this works. Like, it's not they have a busier schedule than we do sometimes, and um,
Mm-hmm.
and so keeping up with all that, with doing working two jobs, having two successful careers, um,
Mm-hmm.
and and trying to raise a daughter, right? Becoming a single mother in the in the midst of all this. And the one thing that is truly inspiring is that smile on your face. Like,
Thank you.
yeah, I mean, a lot of people would be pulling their hair out. I don't have much more to pull out, but I would be pulling my hair out.
Yeah, so Lexi is my beautiful daughter. I have two kids, but one is a grown adult. He lives on his own. So Lexi does all of the things that kids can do. She swims, she marches in the band, she's the student director of the musical this year. She does the competitive drama program, she dances, she rows, she plays soccer. Um, she's in student leadership with the superintendent. Yes, she does all of the things that kids do. She's at school sometimes from 6 in the morning till 9 o'clock at night. Um, so yeah, so she, like I said, she does all the things. But yes, I working two, like you said, working two full-time jobs and being successful at real estate. I have closed, as of right now, 29 transactions in the 2 years, just over 2 years that I've been in the business. So
Don't say that lightly, because
I don't.
because remember, NAR just put the statistics out again that almost 71% of realtors sold zero homes last year.
Yeah.
Which, the scary part about that is that's 2 years in a row that those numbers came out. That's 2 years in a
Correct.
row that 70% of real estate agents sold nothing, which is scary. And so for you to say you've sold 29 homes in this short, like, 2.5 years, right? Is that where we're at
Right.
roughly? Um,
Yeah. So 2024, between surgery and divorce, I sold 14 units, 14 homes. Um, and then 2025, learning to be single, taking care of Alexis, uh, and and working full time, I did 12 12 transactions. So 26 for the first 2 full years, and I've closed 3 in the first 6 weeks this year.
awesome. So good. If I could find, I gotta find I don't know which button over there, but I have an applause button. But
Right. It's okay.
there's a lot of buttons over there. I got 3 laptops and a button thing. So no, again and again, watching this, because and how I've watched your growth, right? And so for people that don't know this, we have what's called a Breakfast Club line. Now, our Breakfast Club line is a coaching call, and anybody that wants to hop in the morning, and it's every morning, Monday through Friday, from 7:30 to roughly 8:30. Sometimes they go a little bit long. Sometimes they go a little bit longer. But it's every Monday through Friday. So it's Eastern time for those of you that are on the West Coast, or in Central time, but it's Eastern time. So 7:30 in the morning. Um, uh, and so that's the live call-in line. So that the live call-in line for this show is also the live call-in line for the Breakfast Club. So that number is 248-803-0656. And if you dial into that number every day between Monday through Friday, between 7:30 and 8:30, you're going to get the Breakfast Club. And that's what you brought that up a minute ago. That's where you first kind of hopped in, to kind of just, again, getting that free coaching, right? Because it's
Hmm.
just on there. And like you said, you were taking advantage of all the free stuff you could get, right? Like, every sign me up for every free coaching, every free thing I could take, every EXP University thing, all the things, the real comp classes, like, and you had some downtime with the knee injury, but
I did, but the thing is that, like, I would be on my postal route, and like there's a Tuesday morning training at 11 o'clock that you can zoom in.
mhm.
And I would zoom in from my mail truck. I might not be watching the screen. I had my earbuds in, but I would listen into every single solitary training. The brokers meeting actually, our brokers here at EXP put the brokers meeting on Wednesday mornings on so I could, because you couldn't get into I couldn't do the world from my phone to get
Yeah.
into EXP University.
Yep.
From it wasn't a strong enough signal. I would end up losing them. So they actually made it where I could listen in. Whatever they did in the background, they did it so I talked to Nick, and he made it so I could listen in from my phone. So there were things that were done in the background in order for me to keep up and to train. And they had done that when NAR changed all of the rules because I couldn't attend any of that training.
Right.
All of it happened to be while I was already scheduled at the post office. So I literally learned the new NAR laws from the mail truck, walking and delivering the mail and just listening in. So I couldn't see any of the paperwork. I couldn't see what they were filling out. I didn't have the ability to do that, but I did at least get to listen.
Yeah. Yeah, and then you take the opportunity later to read the paperwork, but I at least know now what to say, right? And I know the verbiage to
Mhm.
use and all the things like you said. So the moral of the story is where there's a will, there's a way, right?
There is, yes. And like I said, I mean, most anybody that I've come into uh, has made that happen, has made that, an ability. There's even brokers at other brokerages that have invited me into their trainings just to listen in, and they've made it possible for me to zoom in from my mail truck and things like that. So yeah.
Yeah, it's the again, it's the community you surround, you surround yourself with matters, right? But you also you personally have an effect on people, and again, it's that how can everybody help each other, right? Because you're always
Mhm.
willing to jump in and help. How can I help? How can I do whatever? What can I provide? Um, and then again, that becomes reciprocal, right? Like that just happens because it's now with of how can I help you? You can help me. How can we both just again, a rising tide lifts all ships. So that's your mindset, and that's one of the things that like you've always brought that to the Breakfast Club call.
Mhm.
We've talked. We've brought you up on the on the Breakfast Club call a few times because you delivered mail for 20 years. Like, who knows the neighborhoods better? The person that's
Right.
in the neighborhood every day for 20 years. You're in the neighborhood. Um,
Yeah.
but what's funny, I did discover yesterday is we talked about door knocking.
We did. We discussed so I am venturing out of my comfort zone this weekend. So one of the ways that I've been able to the two main things that I focused on at first to grow my business were mailers, obviously, putting stamps on letters, getting them into mailboxes is my thing. It's
Yep.
just what I've always done. So that was a natural way for me to do it. Also, I can address envelopes at 10, 11 o'clock at night, and I'm not bugging anybody. I'm not trying to call people when they're sleeping. So phone calls weren't necessarily a possibility for me. Uh, so mailing things was. So that was one of the ways. The other way that I learned to grow my business, or I used to grow my business, was open houses. I have done sometimes up to three in a weekend, two on Saturday and one on Sunday. So I this weekend, I happened to not have an open house scheduled. For whatever reason, there wasn't one that I could find, you know. So I decided I was going to venture into door knocking this weekend, which I'm terrified of, absolutely and utterly terrified of. I have been bitten 5 times at the post office in 20 years. Dogs terrify me. I love them. I have one, but they are just terrifying. So I am scared out of my mind for this weekend, but I'm still going to go out there tomorrow and I'm going to knock for 2 hours and again on Sunday and just meet my neighbors. I've lived in this neighborhood for almost 6 years now, and there's neighbors that I don't know.
Yeah. I, look, guys. It's so funny because when you said that to me, that I'm like, oh, door knocking, perfect. I'm like, you were a male, you for post office for 20 years. It's great, and you're like, no, it scares me to death. I'm afraid of dogs. And then instantly, I just think of like cartoons. Every cartoon you ever watched when you were a kid, the dog chases the mailman, right? Like everyone, and you're like, no, I've seriously been bitten and drawn, and blood has been drawn 5 times in
Mhm.
20 years. That's a lot.
Yeah, I've seen things like dogs climb through windows they busted out, cutting themselves up to try to get to me. Um, Through fences, obviously screen doors, kids opening up doors. Yeah, I have seen just about anything you could imagine on a Looney Tunes cartoon with a dog has happened, and it's all real.
And then I just like picture you running down the street like I'm out of here, mail flying in the air. Like this whole picture played out in my head. Um,
Uh,
but
so one of the most comedic times was three Great Danes.
oh boy,
Yeah, and I'm 5'2", so they were as
right.
tall as I was. Like their nose was at my nose, and the homeowners happened to be less than conscious. Let's just go with that.
Okay.
Um, and they, so yeah, one was coming at my face. One already had my bag in his mouth, and the other one had the back of my shirt in his mouth. And the homeowner was laying face down in the grass in the rain.
It, see this
Luckily,
whole
he
scene.
had a roommate that was,
Yeah.
it was terrifying. So I delivered the mail, I finished the mail route that day. I went back the next day, and the lady across the street said, "Did that girl die yesterday?" Mind you, she never called 911.
And you're like, no, I'm the girl from
I
yesterday.
Yeah, exactly. She's like, "You came back again?" I said, "That's kind of what we do."
Yep. Rain, sleet, snow, dog, whatever. Right? We got to. The
Mhm.
mail has to be delivered.
Yeah.
That's an incredible story. That's an incredible story. But now I understand why like the door knocking is not your thing.
Mm-mm.
But again, here you go. You're stepping outside of your comfort zone, right? You're gonna go do the door hangers of a neighbor, and prospecting a neighborhood. But let me ask you this question, because you brought up something that was very interesting, and I've heard a lot of agents talk about this, and everybody kind of does it a different way. But you said you've done a lot of your business through via open house, right? Like that's how you've prospected for a lot of business. How did that seed get planted? Like, where did that come from? Of like, I just need to do a bunch of open houses.
That came from just a matter of necessity of time.
Okay.
I always had Sundays off, and I could do an open house on a Sunday. Um, so yeah, it was a matter of what when I got in and I started learning all of the different ways that you could grow your business and that you could prospect for clients. All of these things are handed out to you. You can do mailers, you can door knock, you can do open houses, you can make phone calls, you can join a team and they can buy you leads. You can buy your own leads. You can do, there's multiple ways of growing your business. And I'm like, okay, well, one, I don't have a lot of money, or I didn't want to spend a lot of money. And two, I um I didn't have a whole lot of time.
Okay.
So I'm like, I can do a 2-hour open house on a Sunday, still run my household for the rest of Sunday. And, and my time commitment was, you know, I tried 10 to 12, but that's church hours. It doesn't really work. So it ended up being 12 to 2, which was a little bit more in the middle of my day than I wanted, but that worked out the best to get the best crowd through the door. Um, so yeah, so that's how open houses started. It was just a matter of something that I could fit in, on that seventh day and still work 7 days a week, but fit it in.
Right. Right. And so, and now, and then you ramp that up, right? Then more time starts to become available. Now it's 3 open houses on a weekend if I can get it. And one of the things, like for those of people that don't know, like we have a collaboration chat that I don't even know how many agents are in that collaboration chat at this point. There's a lot though. And
Over
and there,
300. I know that last time I
yeah, I think
looked.
there's over 300 agents in that in our WhatsApp chat. But some aren't even in our state, right? Like, but that's one of the things I see that you do is, I think you just put it in the other day. Anybody have an open house available this weekend? I can take it. So again, you're always putting yourself out there of how can I, again, can I get a open house this weekend? And then now you don't have an open house for this weekend, but now you've scheduled your time to door knock. And so the door knocking part are you just hitting on your neighborhood specifically, or what's the strategy behind that part?
So I learned from another agent earlier. So obviously geofarming is doing
Yep.
mailers, but there's follow-up to that makes it more effective. I haven't had the time until now to do any of the other steps besides continuously mailing to the same 4 neighborhoods that I've been mailing to. So one of the other ways that makes that more effective is that after you send out your mailers for that particular neighborhood, the next week or the weekend after they get them is to go door knock and hand your business card again. You're being put in front of them twice in a week or 2 weeks' time, keeping you front of mind if they ever think about doing anything. And so now that I have the time, my time is more my own. I get to choose what I want to do with it. That was the whole reason for the strategic exit out of the post office was to own my own time again.
Yeah.
And so yeah, so that's what I get to do. I mean, yes, I'm working 7 days this week. I am going to work every day this week, but I'm only going to work for 2 hours on Saturday. And it's when I choose to. So yeah, a lot of people are like, but you're still working 7 days a week. Yeah, I am. And I plan on doing that. I don't mind doing that. Because if I want to go out and door knock from 10 to 12 on a Saturday, I still have all of my Saturday to do whatever I want.
Yeah.
I am not frozen, wet, exhausted, run off my feet, putting in 8, 9, 10 hours. You know, I can do it when I want to. And if Sunday, if it rolls around, and it won't happen, but if it rolls around and I don't want to door knock, but I did Saturday, well, okay, I can take Sunday off and not work 7 days.
Yeah.
You know,
And let's face it, you got a teenager at home. Nothing happens till after 12 anyway. Like,
I do. I have a teenager at home and nothing happens. If she can stay home and be in her bedroom at 17, this is exactly where she's at. Everybody's like, doesn't she wanna? I was like, no, she doesn't wanna. She wants to sit in her room, she wants to Snapchat with her boyfriend, she wants to be on her phone watching movies, and she wants her cat next to her. This is all she wants.
yeah. Not to get off topic, but the teenage world is such a different world because we're similar because I have a 21-year-old, almost 22-year-old, and a 14, almost 15-year-old. So that
Mhm.
age, that 7-year difference, right?
Yes.
But yeah, this teenager stuff, man, I don't get it. But I was never home. 15
Right.
years old, I was never home.
But the thing is she isn't. So when she does get the chance to be home, she
Yeah,
just wants downtime.
yeah, she just wants downtime. Yeah.
She does.
Totally. We can all get behind that, right? Like you said, you were
Mhm.
working 90 hours at the post office and real estate on a Sunday. If you had nothing to do, what did you want to do? No, nothing, I'm sure.
Correct. Well, my Sundays are actually pretty strategic. You taught me years ago, a couple years ago, that the more you schedule your time, the more time you have.
Mm,
And I have lived by those words. Um, so I schedule just about everything. I was talking with Michelle at her training course on Tuesday, and I had told her, I said, yeah, I said, even my Sunday evenings are scheduled, and I don't do anything during them. From 3 to 7 on a Sunday, there's nothing but my time. Uh, Generally, Lexi's with her father, so I have the house to myself, which is a very rare thing. So I do things like I have housework that I do. I will do a project or two. Um, they were saying there was something brought up about, well, the doorknob breaks on the back door, and that was just an example that we gave. And I said, yeah, that would be scheduled for Sunday, but it wouldn't be scheduled for this Sunday. I would schedule it unless it was a necessity that had to happen right then for the
sure.
following Sunday. That way I'm not stressed out. That way my Sunday is relaxed. And she's like, oh no, you said the R word. And I did, because it's, if it doesn't have to happen that week, it can happen the following week. Everything can be scheduled out so that way your time is managed. But I own my time.
Yeah. And so that's the key right there. As you said, I own my time. And what we do is stressful, right? We wake
Mhm.
up, you and I both woke up this morning unemployed and trying to find another house to sell, right? And we're choosing this. We're choosing
We
this,
did.
right? And but the beauty of it, like you said, you're going to work 7 days this week. You already know this, but that hasn't cut time into your time with your daughter.
No, it doesn't take time away. I have more time now than what I've ever had.
Yeah.
And my day starts at 5 a.m. Monday through Saturday, essentially. Well, even on Sunday, I get up by 6, but I'm at the gym every morning, Monday through Friday, 5 days a week. Um, I'm on the breakfast call most mornings. Sometimes my mornings get hectic and I forget to even dial in, even though there's a reminder on my phone to dial in. Um, that's till 8:30. I'm at my desk by 9 o'clock in the morning, 9:30 at the very latest. I have a block schedule that I follow, and I'm there until 2:30 minimally. And that's just getting my block schedule done. If my admin takes longer, or if I have a listing to put in, because we both know that that doesn't fit during admin hours because it takes longer.
Yep.
Um, if I have extra addendums to write, things like that, that happens after 2:30, after my block schedule. I add that onto my day. But then you have to figure there are buyer's consultations and listing appointments and showings for houses, because I'm not going to sell houses if I'm not into houses. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
and yeah, and yesterday, I mean, I finished my block schedule. My client needed me to finish a little bit early yesterday so I could show her houses because that's when she was available. I don't do it very often. And I won't do it very often, but this is a single mom. She's in the medical field. She needs to be showing houses when she needs to be showing houses. So I went and I showed her 5 houses, and then I came home, and then I was on with you for an hour. You know what I'm saying? So
Yep.
my day started at 5 o'clock in the morning, and I was off with you by 5:30 in the afternoon. It was a 12-hour day. So they're still long days. Um, yeah, it's just that's what it
But
takes to do this.
it does, but like you said, and one of the things that was important that you and I talked about yesterday was your money making time, right? Your prospecting time. You don't mess with that.
I do not. I
Yeah.
do not. My
So there's
prospecting
those.
time starts at 9:30 and goes to 12:30, and I don't schedule anything between those times.
Yeah. Because that's the most important time. Like that. And again, you can adjust this throughout your day. You and I have sat down and done your business plan, and I'll always meet with you to discuss this stuff because you absorb it, right, and then but you put it into action. And it's one of the things, like, as a coach, when I give this stuff away and I'm like, oh, because I give it away all the time, right? Like there's stuff I just give away all the time, and then but then when I see someone like you actually putting it into practice, and I'm like, well, everybody go look, please.
Yeah, because I texted you uh in September and I said, hey, look, I need your updated business plan. Can you email it to me? And you did.
Yep.
All of your business plan, all of the instructions. There was nothing left that I had to get onto a phone call with you or anything else. It was just given. You just gave it away. And I printed it out. And my accountability partner and I sat down in October and we planned out 2026. We planned out January and February because that was going to look different than March through December. Now, my accountability partner and I have met every week, even if it was a phone call meeting, because that's what fit into our schedule for the last 18 months. Now we're together every day. So we decided that Monday through Thursday during our office hours, as we call them, our 9:30 to 2:30, we are together every day. We meet at my house on Mondays and Tuesdays, and her house Wednesday and Thursday. Um, and that way neither one of us is driving every day of the week to the other person's house. And we sit down with the two of us and we keep each other on schedule.
And and then I'm going to share this too. Like the coolest part
Mhm,
is on Monday and Tuesday when it's at your house, you make lunch, and on
mhm,
Wednesday and Thursday when it's at her house, she makes lunch. So you guys
mhm.
aren't buying lunch. You're not buying. You know what I mean? Like so, you guys have balanced this thing out. I think that is one of the most coolest things I've heard. Um, you talk about like saving time, saving money, being utilizing what you have. You
Mhm.
just you're just at your house, she's coming over, you're 9:30 to 12:30, that's your prospecting protected time. And I don't know, I just think that's one of the coolest things I've heard um from an agent, because agents, again, I love agents, and we hear, I need an office, I need a place to go. You have a place to go, right? You have this place to go, so now you can actually go do these things. And I just thought that was one of the coolest things I've heard.
Well, when we discussed it, when we sat down in October and we did our business plan and we made our daily schedule up, we had discussed, well, what are we going to do? We're going to be together for lunch. And then when you look at lunch, as in getting ready, going out of the house, driving to the restaurant, ordering the food, paying for it, eating the lunch, talking longer than you're supposed to, you're not going to come back home and sit back at your dining room table or your office or your desk or wherever that place might be and start again. You're going to
Right.
be completely out of the mode for the day. So essentially your day is going to end at 12:30. Well, you can't be successful and end your day at 12:30. It's not going to happen. You have to do other things. You have to work longer. And so we said, no, we're not going to spend the money. We're not going to eat out. We're not, you know, I took Austin Chevron's wealth management course at the end of 2024,
Okay.
when he started it. And then I read The Money Puzzle twice last year. So that's his book that he put out. And I actually implemented it, all of it, or at least, you know. So when I retired, when I jumped, I knew I was going from 20 years of a biweekly paycheck, of a steady income
Yeah.
that I was guaranteed, to, an irregular income. And so in order to make that irregular income regular, you have got to cut the fat out of your budget for at
Yep.
least for a little while. I mean, and you've got to strategically, again, plan where you're going to spend it. Where is it going to go? What are you going to do? What does that look like? Um, like I said, I do mailers, and the mailers that I sent out this month are probably not the ideal thing because, they're not a bifold card. So you can't stick everything inside of it. So when they pull it out, everything comes with it. You know what I'm saying? Which would be ideal. But when I looked at the cost, those were 30 cents a piece. The ones I mailed out were just a card, just essentially a postcard inside of an envelope, but they were 7 cents a piece and 23 cents a piece when you're trying to make every business dollar stretch, because I've cut my business expenses by 35% this year, is a whole lot of money when you add it up over 1,200, 1,400, 1,500 letters by the end of the year.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. That 23 cents doesn't sound like much, because everybody just thinks, oh, it's 23 cents. But that 23, when you do it 500 times, adds up to a lot of money, and
mhm.
s- here's, you said something, and I want people to go back to what you said. So you decreased your business spending by 35% this year,
Correct.
in the year that you went full time into the business.
Correct.
So think about that. You're spending 35% less this year than you did, and are going full time in the business. So
Mhm.
cutting out. So what did we cut out that is saving you that 35%?
My mailers are going.
But that's 1,000 houses I got to go door knock. right? It's a lot. If I narrow it down to 100 or 200 and I go door knock those, now I'm getting more. Again, I'm creating this relationship with this neighborhood instead of this broad scope, this shotgun blast that I'm just trying to blast the hole through the door. Instead, I'm throwing darts now. And now I'm not reaching as many people, but I'm getting more acquainted with those people on a personal level. Because instead
Mhm.
of being so broad, now I'm nailing it. Because the farming thing, right? What people have to realize about farming and what we're talking about is picking out a neighborhood or an area and sending mailers to that area. And then it should be phone calls to that area, emails to that area, and then door knocking to that area. And so you're not
Mhm.
overdoing any one of those things. You're kind of doing all of them. And all you're trying to do is stay top of mind with that neighborhood. So that the farming thing I think is fantastic. It's just some people drop the ball in one or the other. They either, and I know you're never going to drop the ball in mailing. You did mailers for 20 years. So you're never going to
Yeah.
drop the ball there. Um,
No.
but the second thing is, like you said, it was the subscriptions because we're realtors. We buy dumb stuff. We
We
just
do.
sign up for dumb stuff. And if you look at what um what the thing if you look at all your subscriptions and it's $20 here. It's not a lot of money. It's 15 here. It's 10 there. It's 20 here. It's 20 here. And then you start to look at it, you're like, whoa, holy crap, that's $300 a month. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
When you start adding it all up. So I'm glad that you were able to find those holes. I call those the holes in your boat. And
Mhm.
those holes in your boat, you don't know they're there until it's too late. And there's
Correct.
there's too much water coming in. And again, they
Mhm.
don't have to be giant holes. They can be small. But as long as water's coming in those holes, that can be trouble. So
It's the
um
smaller ones that are the biggest problem because you see the big ones.
yeah, you're right.
It's it's the little ones that are the problem. So when I did that course, it was take 3 months of your expenses, your credit cards, and your bank accounts, and separate them into three categories. And I ended up doing a fourth because I have a business that I run. So obviously my expenses needed to be separated into a fourth category. And then I sat down and I didn't do 3 months. I ended up doing 12 months. I did
Okay.
all of 2025 because I really wanted to see where the holes were in my boat. Where was I, not only in my business, but in my lifestyle? Because that was the last piece to getting to retire. That was the
Mm,
last piece of my plan was getting my finances extraordinarily tight. So when I jumped ship, I wasn't like every other agent going back to work, going back to a full-time 9 to 5 job.
yeah.
What was I going to find that was going to compare to what I was making at the post office? I'm not. So, where can I do it? What can I do it with? And learning from people that have been successful, lost it, and remade their boat. And so
Yeah.
that's what I did. That's what I took and I filled all the holes and learned what I could do, but I did it in my business as well. And I cut all of that expense. And then the thing I found out is that not only did I cut my expense, and so yes, I have a mailer's budget or I have a business budget, and mailers are part of that. But then I look when I go to order them, I send out pretty cards. I'm a girl. I'm in pink. You can see
Sure.
my office. You know what I'm saying? So they have hearts and flowers and all of the pretty things on them. Anything I can do to get somebody else's attention. They're hand addressed. They have stickers on them. you know they're in your mailbox and you're going to say, oh, what is this? Because not only is it hand addressed, but it's pink or green or blue and it's got a sticker on it, and so it's going to catch everybody's attention. Even if you don't like that stuff, it's still going to catch your attention in your mailbox, because one, people don't send out hand addressed anything anymore.
Nope.
They really don't. And it was funny because as a mail lady, that was always something that was important to me. If somebody was going to hand address you a card for your anniversary, your birthday, even so much as, you had a death in the family and somebody actually mailed you a sympathy card, when I put those things in your mailbox, I put the ones that were hand addressed on top of your bills. So you've seen those first because it was important to me. Those personal connections were important to me. And so this business is personal connections. It's a relationship business.
Yeah.
So me hand addressing my envelopes, even if they don't appeal to every personality type, because they're pink or they're green and they have stickers on them. The thing is that when you get, no matter what your personality type is, when you get a hand addressed envelope in your mailbox, you're going to pay attention to it, at least for 30 seconds, which is more than you're going to pay attention to your mortgage bill.
Yes. Oh, well, again, we keep unpacking stuff, and this is the reason that you are going to have massive success. Because the one thing you just said, and this is what I pulled out of this. You said when you were delivering mail and you looked at, as you were getting ready to put it into somebody's mailbox, the handwritten stuff you would put on top. Because that handwritten stuff means something.
Mhm.
And no shade to the mail people out there, but like my mail person doesn't do that to me.
I'm sure they don't.
Yeah, I don't need the mortgage bill on top, man. I know it's there. I know, you know what I mean? I don't need the credit card bills there. I know they're there. But if you put the letter on top, that's like a birthday card or, like you said, a sympathy card or, whatever. But those handwritten things, but that's the care you take. And that's a very special thing for you from you. That's what's in your heart, is that you took the time to say, you know what, I just need to make this person's day better, and by doing that small little thing, and it is a very, think about it, it seems like such a small thing, but it's not. It's big, because you intentionally were trying to make people feel good, and that's a true test of your character.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was, and that was it, is I mean, and especially, I mean, let's go back to even prior to COVID. I mean, making somebody's day better. There were a lot of people. I mean, I started out Wayne, Westland, and Canton for the first 5.5 years. The neighborhoods that I ended up in were a lot of senior citizens and a lot of single persons that had lost their mate, their spouse. And the thing is that when you're talking about the elderly, you're talking about, some of them are shut-ins. They see me and they see the Meals on Wheels person.
Yep.
And they get nobody else to talk to. They got nobody else to communicate with. And so, yeah, so that was it warmed my heart. I mean, there was a short story and tangent to mail carrying. There was a gentleman in Westland. He was in a wheelchair. His wife was a nurse. She worked 12, 14-hour shifts. He was homebound if she was on a shift. And so I would talk to him almost every day. Well, it ended up, they had a wooden front porch. So the footsteps on a wooden front porch vibrate differently than a cement front porch, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
He ended up falling one day. His wife was gone for 16 hours that day. She was at a training seminar. She had left at like 6 a.m. I was at his house by like 12:30, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And he had fallen. He had been down on the floor since like 7 that morning. He couldn't move. Everything was out of reach by 1 inch, and he could not move. So I ended up going in. He yelled. I heard him. The front door just happened to be unlocked. Thank the good Lord. I walked in and I called 911. He would have been down there until almost 9 o'clock that night by the time his wife got home. He would have been on the floor for 14 hours. His wife wrote a letter to the post office saying, thank you. You saved my husband's life, because he had no water, no medicine, no nothing for all of those hours. And I sat with him, until the fire truck showed up and all of that. And I was like, I don't need any of this. Like, I didn't do it for that. I didn't report it to my bosses. I didn't tell anybody. So I don't know, the next week I got called into the postmaster's office, and I'm like, oh, what the heck did I do now?
I'm so close to retiring.
Well, no, this was years ago. This was like right after I'd started.
Okay.
I was like 2 years in, so I was terrified of any postmaster at that point in time.
Yeah.
No. And I'm like, I didn't do anything, I promise. He's like, no, he's like, he goes, he goes, you saved somebody's life last week. And I said, no, I didn't. What are you talking about? And he's like, well, did you call 911 for a customer? And I said, yeah. He says, well, I looked back. He says, because this lady said that you sat with her husband for a half an hour and, waited till 911 got there and the fire trucks got him up and you helped him get some water and yada, yada. And I said, yeah. And he's like, well, yeah, she wrote a letter. She said you saved her husband's life and yada. I'm like, I did nothing of the sort except for call 911. Like, this is all I did. They made a huge deal of it. And
As they should have.
but it wasn't, he's like, but you didn't even use any overtime. That was his biggest thing.
Yeah.
He's like, I looked at the day. He's like, you saved somebody's life and didn't even cost me any overtime.
Well,
That was the funniest part about that one.
and think of where we're at, as a society, that there's still good people. You know what I mean? There's still a J-Lo out there that smiles, puts the handwritten letters on top, sits with people when they need it, and has a smile on her face. And so kudos to you, because you've gone through a lot, and again, this struggle of business and building a business and trying to make it work, and being a single mom and being there for your daughter and delivering the mail. Now you're not delivering the mail anymore, but we took that burden off your shoulders.
Yeah.
But no, kudos to you for all the things that you're doing and have done, because I see such a bright future for you in real estate, and it's because of what's in here for you. That's just truly what it is.
Thank you.
Yes, of course. And what does 2026 like? What are the goals? What are the things for 2026? What does that look like for J-Lo?
2026 looks like my business plan it obviously was done. We discussed that. 25 transactions is my goal for this year.
Awesome.
It was 24 when I made it. When I left the post office a month early, I decided that income needed to be made up somewhere on the back end, so I added one more. Instead of carrying mail for another 5 weeks, I'll just sell one more house. So yeah, it looks like 25 transactions. I've closed 3 already. I've actually the good Lord has brought 3 new clients to me in the last 2 weeks. 1 from an open house, 2 from social media posts. So yeah, it should be technically 1 as a client, 1 as a lead. But yes. So yeah, it looks like just sticking with the schedule and being consistent and intentional. I mean, I picked a word for this year, just like I had picked consistency for 1 year and intention for the other year. And my word this year is movement. And I don't care if the needle moves 1 millimeter a day. I'm not worried about the days that the needle goes backwards. You know what I'm saying? I can move it forward again, because there are going to be days in this business where the needle goes backwards. Or, as I heard you say one time, there's going to be a day where I just want to water the plants and go back home.
Yep.
And that's going to be okay. All of that is okay. There are going to be days where I am not okay, and that's okay to not be. But movement, always moving forward, always having the next thing going, having an agenda for the weekend, just yeah, and not being a secret agent. I hand my business card out to everybody I meet. It doesn't matter. I don't care if I'm sitting next to you at a restaurant. I don't care if I'm walking through your line at Kroger. I don't care if you're the guy that's washing my car. You're getting a business card.
I love it. And you're right. You can't be a secret agent, especially trying to build a business that you're trying to build. That's you cannot be. I don't know why I bumped this off for a second there. That was weird. But we're back, I think. Technical difficulties. So, but yeah. So as we got about 4 minutes left.
Yeah.
What's your advice to agents right now?
patience, intention, consistency. Make a plan and stick with it. Just don't quit. It's worth it. I mean, this is the dream I never knew I had. I never knew that I always wanted freedom from the post office, from that rigid schedule, from working weekends, even though I'm still working weekends. But it feels very different when somebody else isn't telling you have to do it. So just don't quit.
Yeah. Yeah.
It all works. You just have to work it.
So Dave Petrolius just sent a question in for us. And he said, if you know a postman and wanted to get them to provide you opportunities when they're on their route to alert you to a potential client, what signs could they provide you to reach out to that household?
Literally just send a message to your local realtor that you want to work with. I don't know where Dave is at exactly, but sending them a message on their Facebook, texting them. They should answer all of them and just say, hey, look, I was talking to this person here and they said that they were looking to move and I recommended you. But let them know that you're giving out their contact details to the realtor in your area that you trust. Because that way I'm not showing up at their door and they don't know that I'm coming.
Love that. Love that. Such good stuff. Where can everybody find you? What's your social media tags? Instagram, Facebook?
So it is, gosh, I got to look it up because I don't even know. So it's Jennifer Lopez on Facebook, which is kind of hard to find. I'm going to have to put something after my name because Jennifer Lopez is pretty popular.
And you can't just shorten it to J-Lo. See, I've shortened your name to J-Lo on the Breakfast Club call.
Yeah. So I might have to put J-Lo in parentheses in between Jennifer and Lopez on my Facebook in order to make it easier to find. But yes, I'm also on Instagram and I'm looking that up right now. So it is Jennifer_Lopez Realtor on Instagram.
Okay.
And that connects to Thread, Facebook, everything.
Yeah.
So if you find me on Instagram, which is probably easier, you can find me on the rest of them.
And it was Jennifer_Lopez Realtor.
Correct.
Okay. So if you guys are looking for Jennifer Lopez on Instagram, find her there, Jennifer_Lopez Realtor on Instagram. Follow her, find her out there on social medias. She's doing incredible stuff. And man, I'm happy to see the growth of you. The 3 years we've been on the phone calls in the morning have been awesome. And I appreciate everything that you're doing in business and helping everybody out too. So I'm just happy to see where you're at, and I'm super excited to see where you're going. So, all right, guys, I'm going to wrap it up on that. J-Lo, thank you so much for jumping in with me this morning and being on. And guys, if you're not following her, go follow her on Instagram. Check out the EliteEdgeNetwork.com. Follow the Elite Edge Network on YouTube. When you get to the YouTube channel, like and subscribe. You can find the podcast wherever you find it. And we'll see you all next week.